So in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to start the Nobel Peace Prize. The wonder of the internet makes it possible to view these recordings pretty easily, and so much of the day is going to be filled with that. So the presentation, especially later, will have a lot of his original speeches, either video or audio. So we'll show that about 10 minutes from now, but before then, we should eat, but you've already begun, so I guess a post or during blessing is a good idea. Let's do that. Oh God, who is love ever with us, we thank you for this day that you've made and the chance to rejoice in it. We also thank you for this day meant to honor and remember Dr. King and all he has meant in our lives and in this country and in this world. And we honor and thank you for his life and for his legacy and for his love for this country and for this world and for you, most of all. And so as we go forward to this day and our work and our activities and our volunteering, we pray that you would undergird us, that your Spirit would move in us and through us, and we would seek to do your will, which is to love you and to love our neighbors. And for this we'll give you the thanks. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'm a 60s kid, so I was brought up with Dr. King's teachings. That's why I'm here.
Hi, I'm Nate Johnson. I'm here because I live in this area and go to this church, and also I'll be speaking about where I work in Oklahoma System Advocacy as part of the workshops later on today.
I'm Mary Ann Sullivan. I'm from Athol, but I work with Nate. And he had asked me to make some cookies for today, so I made some cookies, and then maybe I'll go. I have nothing going on today, so here I am.
Hi, I'm Sandy Johnson, and I'm Nate's mom, and I just live down the street, so I wanted to come and participate too.
I'm Betsy Wilson. I'm from Barry, but I come to church here and I live in Kings. Just a very powerful mentor.
My name is Jeff Black. I'm the pastor at Mission Covenant. And Will and I always come to these, and it's always great to be reminded of his teachings and his example. So I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm Diane Nassif, and I live in Orange at the moment, and I'm here because I want to see all of the things that you have planned.
And I'm probably here for a lot of reasons, but certainly, like Audrey, in the 60s I did some work in the South, and so I've followed the teachings of Martin Luther King and other nonviolent teachers for a long time.
I'm Janet. I'm a member of this church. I'm here to be helpful. I was busy raising babies, but certainly the television's on, and I'm aware of a lot that's going on. Welcome. I'm so happy to see so many people here.
I'm Kathy. I go to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Athol. And I enjoy volunteering in the morning. Do you want to go? Why don't you go?
What are we doing?
You're introducing yourself.
My name's Betty Miller. I'm from the Central Congregation Church in Orange. I always like attending. I'm pretty regular. I think I've been most every one, except for one I was really sick. And the thing I like about it is it's very inspirational, and I think if more people realize really what's going on, and we wouldn't have all this trouble, really. But it's likely.
I feel like I should stand up. I'm here for
Okay.
I'm Lisa, and I'm here for kind of an unusual reason drove me here. For those of you that knew Bob Coyle, I spent the last year every day with his wife, and she'd been bedridden for a very long time. She died on January 6th, but she had one story that she was very proud of, and I was very proud of, and that was that she met Martin Luther King. when she worked at BU. She apparently they only had a certain number of books because there was 22 people in the class, and they only had 2 books, and everybody had to read them. So somebody gave one of the books to Barbara. She was working at a particular location, I guess near the library. And they said, don't give this book to anybody but Martin. So he came in and she said, are you Martin? And he said yes. And she said he was very kind, and he explained that there were 22 people in the class, and he asked them to get more books, but they hadn't, so they had to read it very quickly. Yeah. So when we were in the emergency room with her where she died, the phlebotomist came in, I said, this is the person who's met Martin Luther King. And the phlebotomist went, wow! And it was just a great moment, and that was one of her last moments. So I really felt like I should be here for her, if nothing else.
Denise Andrews, Orange. I have family in this part of the world from 1810. And when we moved home, and as I've lived here over the last 5 years, I'm very disappointed in the lack of enlightenment and embracing differences. And so it's not okay when a Confederate flag tries to act all in orange. Just isn't right. So my commitment is to come from love and responsibility to evolve a place that's near and dear to my heart, as it is yours.
I'm Judy Becker. I'm from Orange. I came here about 30 years ago to Buffalo. We moved here the last 5 years. I'm here today just to celebrate the men. I grew up in the 50s and 60s. I knew him. I knew about him. I knew him well in my spirit. And since my dad was also a preacher, I got to know him better on a whole other level than that. And just coming to celebrate his life and his legacy and to support Denise's efforts to make a change in our state.
I'm Henry Ortell. I'm from Orange. I'm here to show my respect to Dr. King, and probably the most important reason I'm here this morning is because Margaret told me I was going. So in view of that, nice to meet everybody.
Wanda Davis. I live in Athol, and we had to make a difference. Make change. I've been here for 19 years, and met Denise, was on her team, and on all the vote, change.
I'm Sharon Hestat. I live in Orange. I try to come to these celebrations every year, and even though there's a small group of us, I feel a great sense of community and that we're all here for one reason and we're all inspired by Martin Luther King.
I'm Jenny Kent, and Bethany Lutheran represented both the Doris and the others. I did go to BU and graduated in 1970, so of course automatically gone to BU, and I thought, the thing I have not done is to go to the library and see the exhibit. And I thought, shame on me, but I haven't done that. But what I did go to Birmingham, Alabama, and this was a number of years ago with a cousin. I had a last remaining cousin, and I don't know if he's been alive now. He's 97 last I heard, and I wasn't in touch. We did go by the Ebenezer Baptist Church where the 3 little girls were killed, and that just stood out in my mind, and noted the racism that still is so present globally. Lovely people, but still the racism persists so deeply. And hearing it in my family really struck me with this cousin and his caregivers who were also black women, lovely black women. But hearing it, it just kind of made me sit up straight. Oh, this is not
this church. And in the early 60s, we lived in Atlanta, Georgia, during the Martin Luther King era, before he was assassinated and moved to Orange. And I'll never forget hearing about the Birmingham, the bombing of the church that you mentioned, and the 4 little girls that were killed. And Bull O'Connor and hoses, people who didn't fight back. That was the part that just, how he was able to inspire these people to be nonviolent is just so impressive to me. And he's always been an inspiration just thinking about what he's accomplished.
I'm Sally Russell, and I live in Groton, but I was in Orange. My husband and I moved here in 1965. He was the pastor of Central Church at the time, and all of this was going on. The civil rights, and he was very involved in it. And he went to the March on Washington and so on. Been friends with Murray for all this time. Still see her and come back here. And this was the weekend that meant a great deal to both of us. And somehow everything that happened then is still fresh in my mind. It's because we lived it while we were here and were involved in it. And the racism is still so strong in this country, and I've been aware of that for a while. So that's why I'm here. And I'm with you.
I'm Genevieve Fraser from Orange also. I first became involved in the movement when, and this reveals my age, when, which I like to pretend I'm not, when LBJ was running, because I felt that he would make a difference as he did. So I became involved in the Get Out and Vote drive in Roxbury and went door to door. And that was my first involvement. Later, I was doing things like when, what was his name? Who was the governor in Wallace? Yes, I was part of protests against him, I know. And became very active in the NAACP. Shortly after Martin Luther King was assassinated, there was a big convention in Atlantic City, and I was chosen as a delegate. And then later I joined forces with some local people. I lived in Hempstead, New Hampshire at the time, and had gone to parochial school in Haverhill. And I helped form black youth groups in Haverhill, Lawrence, and Lowell. And this was a time when kids who could not have been sweeter and brighter and more polite and honor students could not get a job at a fast food restaurant or anywhere. And so we intervened by getting lawyers and basically suing them until they allowed them to work at any kind of simple job. And many years later, I ran into one of the youth that I had been involved with, and basically these kids became doctors and lawyers and you name it. They were teachers. They were all hugely successful. And he said that if the intervention had not occurred, they could not have even gotten to the first round.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. And this is Talal Ali. Hello, everybody. And he's going to give our first workshop on Dr. King.
Hi, everybody. This is Tully for my name, so I will pronounce it really hard. But I'm an expatriate from Pakistan. I
The program that I can come on is called the Deaf Program in it's funded by the State Department of New York State. The aim of this program is to take children from countries where the population is majority of Muslims, and they bring them here for a whole academic year. So the main aim of this program is to create a better understanding between the people of America and the country. Because the thing is that people only know things through the media and what media shows them. Like people only know the government of the country. They don't interact with each other. So this is a very good program to make people interact with each other and build their own judgments and other things. So today I have a little presentation about my country and to answer some questions. So first, the location is important aspect of my country. Pakistan was founded on 14th August 1947. It is located in South Asia, Pakistan, and it's the 6th most populous country in the world. Having a population over 180 million, it is the 36th largest country area-wise, and we share borders with China, Iran, Afghanistan, and India. Our national language is Urdu, while our official language is English. So people like a lot of times people say, "Oh, your English is so good," and that's because like Pakistan was, and when we were part of India, we were separated from India, like, and so it was called the subcontinent in that time. No India, no Pakistan. So subcontinent was ruled by British for over 200 years. So if you like meet people from that part of the area, they would like their English is supposed to be like good, and they would refer to they would use words that are used in like British or like petroleum and mobile phones and that stuff. So and about 93% population of Pakistan is Muslims. The rest of our Christians, Sikhs, Hindus, and the other minorities. So here's Pakistan border. As you can see we share border with India, beside China, Afghanistan, and around there. And sorry about that. This here is my city, Karachi. It's a really big city. I mean, this is coming from, it has like a population of over 22 million people. It's like one of the biggest cities in the world. So coming from that city to here, that was really a big change for me. I arrived at Hadley International Airport, I think so in Springfield, I don't remember the name. And they were like, oh, I was like, oh, this is good. I saw some building. So as soon as I like started entering Orange, I was like, where are the buildings? Okay, I thought America had big buildings, but it was in first I was like, I thought that I was in some sort of like not rural area, but it has been very like fun and so such beauty. I never get to see these many woods near the houses. Like I only get to see cars and logs and hear the log noises everywhere. So this is our flag. So the green color depicts nature and our Islamic color, and while the white here represents religious minorities and peace with them. The crescent symbolizes progress, and the star represents light and knowledge. Our national dress is known as shalwar kameez for both men and women. And the special thing about the women dress is that here you can see this embroidery. This is all done by hand, no machinery involved. So Pakistan is really big in producing fabric and cotton and that stuff. We have one of the largest textile industries in the world. So we make a lot of stuff with hand. These are some more. This is like a wedding dress. This could be with a little bit of accessories. This is me. While I was in Washington, we had our orientation, so we had a cultural night. So we wore all our like special dresses. So people, especially teenagers here, asked me, "Oh, you're from Pakistan. Do you go to school on camels?" Yeah, we go to school on camels, and instead of gas stations, we have haystacks. People really see Pakistan as like a really deserted country, so Pakistan is very, very diverse when it comes to climate also. So, like, there are snow-capped mountains in the north, sunny beaches in the south, and a wide variety of geographically and culturally interesting parts elsewhere. Like, architecture is very, very, very beautiful. It is inspired by the Mughals and the Turks. So they built very beautiful stuff like mosques and calligraphy, Persian calligraphy. You see it everywhere. It's very beautiful. Our cuisine. Now, Pakistani food is rich in flavors, spices, and it's very like colorful and stuff. So our like staple food includes rice, meat, vegetables, fruits, curry, and gravy. So this here is called biryani, and it is heaven. This is the food I miss the most. Like, it is so good. Like, people, especially my city, like, it's famous for our biryani. So people make memes about that. So, as I said, like, our food is very, very spicy. So here you can see some jalapenos, like, deep fried, and you just eat it with pesto and other spicy stuff. As long as it's spicy, it's good. So, and here, this is a bread called roti. This is a staple food, very, very common. You have it, like, 3 times a day with anything you can think of. You have, like, gravy, you would have roti with it, you have peas, you would have roti with it. Even if you're having soup, like you have soup with bread, we will have roti with it. So it's meat, just plain meat. Another special thing about my city is that our buses, our local transport, are known for their unique art all around the world. You can see here, like, this all is painted by, these are our local transport in the city. So you will see, like, our traditional art on it, hand-painted stuff and pictures. So these are, like, very, very beautiful. They just go around the roads and you can ride on them. These are some of more of this stuff. These are our trucks. That's how we have our trucks. And this is Volkswagen truck in an exhibition in Australia, painted all over by our traditional art. Another difference that I noticed when I came here were the houses. All of the houses are made here of wood. But back home, there is no wood involved in the making of houses. All of it is made of concrete. So, like, we have, like, our houses are made of concrete, and almost most of them have flat roofs. We don't get rain that much. These are some of the more pictures. Sports. Cricket is a very, very huge deal in Pakistan. In the subcontinent. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it was a sport adopted from the British, and we have one of the best team of cricket. And it is such a big deal in, like, and especially Pakistan, when it comes to Pakistan versus India. So it is a huge, huge deal. Currently, a cricket World Cup is going to begin in February 15th, and they made a war, and the first game is Pakistan versus India. In Australia it's going to be out, and they made a world record of selling the cricket tickets in 12 minutes. They were sold out. And the stadium has a capacity of over 90,000 people, and they were sold out in 12 minutes. That's how big cricket is. And we have other teams, our national game is hockey, but people like cricket more. And soccer is very popular. We have teams in volleyball, squash, boxing, and table tennis. These are, like, popular sports over there. This is some picture. And the football World Cup that happened in the Germany one, the ball was made by a Pakistani company in Seattle. Now, the real reason I'm here is, whenever you hear the word Pakistan in media or on TV, you would always, or most often, listen to these words after, like violence, hatred, extremism, and terrorism. Well, to show you guys a little face of Pakistan like you have would have never seen before, a little different, more of the good side. Here, Pakistani pride, Malala Yousafzai. She's a Pakistani activist for female education and the youngest ever Nobel Prize recipient. Malala, she's mainly known for her human rights advocacy for education for women. When she was, I remember, 16 years old, she was shot by the Taliban. Well, because when she was like 12, her area, the part of religion, is the northern part of Pakistan that meets the border with Afghanistan. So what happened was the Taliban they came there and stopped the little girls from going to school. They did not want them to get educated. Malala started writing blogs about it and the problem she was facing to go to school, and she got noticed by the New York Times. Her blog got published and they got scared of her. So she started her movement for education for female, and she was shot in the head when she was 16 years old. But fortunately, she survived, and now she's working for the girls and for their education. World's youngest Microsoft certified professional. Here, Arfa Abdul Karim Mandala, she was the youngest Microsoft certified professional, acting is now. Currently, there's a child, he's also from Pakistan, and he's 9 years old. I can't remember his age. She was only 9 years old when she acquired this title, and she was personally invited by Bill Gates. But unfortunately, her story had a tragic end, and she died of cardiac arrest at age 16. We have a growing fashion industry too. Like I said, people ask me if we have like desserts and other stuff, so I like to focus on this side a little bit. Like since 2005, Pakistan has hosted dozens of fashion weekends, weeks, offering the world a rare glimpse into a growing industry and proving that conservative countries' norms aren't as rigid as portrayed in the media. We have one of the largest textiles, as I told you, and we ship about 13.8 billion worth of textiles every year. Cultural festivals are very, very important, especially the art. Here you can see like these artists, they just sit alongside the road. They don't have the big factories or stuff. They don't have like warehouses. They just go out of their house and take their brushes and start painting their vase, vases, and other stuff. So here you can see Habibur Rahman painting traditional art on the vase at his stall during Punjab Culture Festival. So we're like really rich in culture, dances, and stuff. Pakistan is very, very beautiful. If you go to the northern side, it is also known as the mini Switzerland because of its beauty. Here in Baltistan, this geosite plateau is the name of this place, and it's the second highest plateau in the world, and it's considered one of the most beautiful regions of our country. We have a lot of like dances and cultural heritage and stuff. So here, this is a scene from National Dance Day, International Dance Day, April 2014. We also have very gorgeous monuments, and just like I said, our architecture is very, very influenced by Turks and Persians. So here, this is located in our capital. This is known as the Pakistani Monument. It represents our cultural history and unity of the provinces. This thing that people don't know, like, this is a very, very, very huge deal back home. More than 50% of the world's soccer ball, I'm sorry. I'm used to saying football, are made in Pakistan. Like, our city Sialkot is very, very famous for its sports equipment. And this, around 60 million hand-stitched soccer balls are produced in World Cup, like, here in small farms in Sialkot. This year, 42 million official football bazooka were exported to Brazil for FIFA World Cup 2014. And even NASA tested that ball and declared it the best in the football ever made. NASA tested it because of its aerodynamics, and you can actually Google that. Highest paid international award. So another thing about beauty is Karakoram Highway. This is known as the Karakoram Highway. It has been constructed at a height of 15,397 feet, and it connects Pakistan with China. It is also known as the 8th wonder of the world due to its elevation and difficulty faced while building it. So here are some reasons to be a proud Pakistani for me. we're like first Islamic country to have a nuclear power. We have the largest ambulance network in the world. And in the last 5 years, Pakistan's literacy rate has grown to over 250%. This is the largest in the history of the world. Sixth largest military force, our Air Commodore M.M. Alam had a world record shooting the Pakistan in less than a minute, and our national anthem tune ranks in one of the top tunes of the world. Thank you. And now I have a video that I would like to show you guys. So this is a little video I made to show you guys the beautiful side of Pakistan, and people think it's not that a beautiful country and all. So actually the lyrics and it also has my city in it, but the lyrics that you guys have is not from this song. I have another video that I will show you. The translation is from there. Because the Himalayas, the world's highest mountain.
Is that like some sort of local transport? Is that biking front at a...
He came here and thought he was in the middle of rural. I grew up in central Vermont, and Orange is a metropolis compared to Friendship is a distinctively personal relationship that is grounded in a concern on the part of each friend for the welfare of the other, for the other's sake, and that involves some degree of intimacy. Aristotle says, "What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies." Justice, in its broadest context, includes both the attainment of that which is just and the philosophical discussion of that which is just. The concept of justice is based on numerous fields and perspectives, including the concepts of moral correctness based on ethics, rationality, law, religion, equity, and fairness. So we'd like to do a little bit about justice and friendship. As a few examples, think of a young man in his 20s. His mother is housebound. He has some issues. He can't work. He can't drive. So he can't really get the day-to-day activities and the supplies and source needed for his household. So that's injustice. We have another small boy, approximately 9 years old, has a problem with short-term memory. His mother also has an issue with anxiety and can't really get out to support him in the school system where he needs somebody to stand up for him and talk and get the proper education that he needs. That's injustice. What's a common theme between both of those? What's something that could cure that injustice? And that's a friend. So,
with a disability, get to know them, get to know their needs, desires, wants, futures, things that could come up, crises, and then go from there to find the advocate. Now, the advocate, we find somewhere in this room. Average citizens in the North Quadrant who match the person's skills and hobbies. Obviously, if you have a friend, one of the first things you have to do is have something to do together, unless you just like to sit and stare at the wall. So, and this also allows us to be really specific, so we can match people based on religion. It can be one of the average world religions, or I think for a buddy of mine, I just matched with the advocate. I think his religion is actually the Red Sox, which I am only semi-guilty of. So when we, started thinking about getting an advocate with this guy, and we do an elaborate portrait, not painting, but where we think about, where the person is now, where they might be in the future, their needs, desires. So I felt like, this guy could just not be matched with a Yankee fan. That's how we can get. And, community caring helps everyone. In his Christmas.
A definition of power in the dictionary is this: the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. So it's the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. So keep that in mind. And here's the second definition of justice. And that's the quality of being fair and reasonable. And some synonyms that we know of: even-handedness, equity, equality, and righteousness, which is a deeply religious word, but it points to justice. So what we're dealing with when we talk about power is the appropriate use of power and the abuse of power. And one example of the just use of power is an example. I've been watching this TV show called Blue Bloods, and it's a very much a show about justice and so forth. But one example that I think of when I think of justice is there in this one episode.
People get ready, there's a train will come. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is hope, you get the diesel's humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. So people get ready, there's a train of Jordan.